Hello everyone, and welcome to my review for Kengan Omega Chapter 117. Before I get into this week's review, I of course have to mention my subscriber goal for 2021, hitting 5,000 by the end of the year. So if you're already a fan of the channel and you're not subscribed, you might as well to help me reach that goal. The other thing is my Patreon, if you want to help support me and the channel directly, while also getting access to reviews for Solo Leveling and The Boxer. You can always become a patron as well. There's a link to my Patreon down in the description. With that out of the way, let's get on with the review. This week's chapter is the chapter we've been waiting for, in regards to a few things. The first thing is kind of an explanation as to what Tarashi's deal is in terms of his fighting style. Kind of. He's vibrating. His whole body is vibrating. According to Shadow King, it's vibrating 1.5 billion times the amount a normal person can, which is absolutely fucking ridiculous. You would think like the ground would be shaking underneath him or something, I don't know. But this vibration of his body allows him to disperse blows and redirect some of the impact when he gets attacked. Now, it's ineffective to strike his body. However, his head isn't vibrating. It seems like he can't do that for some reason. I'm assuming this is because he would be getting like a constant concussion if he did that. If your head was like constantly moving around all the time, your brain would be like sloshing around in there. The guy would be getting a concussion like 24/7 if he did that, so it kind of makes sense that he can't. There's no explanation for his actual fighting style, at least as far as the translation summary goes, but that's what we know about it so far. We don't know what kind of martial art he uses or anything. Also, excuse any extra noise, my cat has decided to intrude on the recording session. Now of all times, of course. So that's the first kind of reveal from this chapter, is finding out what Tarashi's gimmick is. It seems like we're getting a little bit of a meme fighter here again. But the other thing is the real thing we've all been waiting for. So because Tarashi's head isn't vibrating like the rest of his body, Okubo can attack it normally, so he does. He starts punching Tarashi in the head, and he breaks his mask, and we get a face reveal for him. And like Daro said, it's a face that we've seen before. It's Long Min. You guys remember Long Min? Maybe not. Long Min was one of the Guardians who worked for Hayami. He was part of the attempted coup during the Annihilation Tournament, and he got killed by the Tiger's Vessel. So initially, prior to getting the translations, most of us were like, holy shit, Tarashi is Long Min. Oh my god. How is Long Min alive? Does this mean that Tarashi can use the advance and the Nico style? Jesus Christ, this is crazy. But then the translations came out. Because we had seen, like right after his face reveal, we see Hanafusa reacting to it. So initially I thought maybe Hanafusa was like, oh yeah, I remember that guy. I helped save him from dying or something. But no. Hanafusa gave Tarashi facial reconstruction surgery. He changed his face to look like Long Min. Why Long Min specifically? I have no fucking idea. Maybe it was just like, hey, just make my face look like someone else. And he was like, alright, I've seen Long Min. It was probably Long Min. Pretty sure Long Min's Chinese, Tarashi's Chinese, so he would probably know who Long Min is, assuming Long Min was also an assassin before becoming one of the Guardians. So he was like, hey, make me look like Long Min. Maybe that was what happened. But apparently, Tarashi changes his face all the time. Also, the vibration thing was something that Hanafusa did to alter him. Hanafusa is a fucking god among men when it comes to scientific medicine. He's a fucking freak of nature. Like, we're going beyond realism here, okay? Hanafusa does magic. He does fucking magic. There's no science or real-life explanation for this shit. Hanafusa does magic. The reason Tarashi had his face changed was because he sees too much. Somebody sees way too many things. So, if Tarashi's face is recognized, that apparently puts him in the sights of some mysterious person. We don't know who the fuck that is. It could have something to do with the worm. It's a very likely possibility. or it's some kind of big crime boss in China. I think it's most likely it has something to do with the worm. I did recall seeing someone else translating some part of the chapter suggesting that Tarashi gets his face changed every time someone sees it, which is fucking nuts. Thinking about the amount of facial reconstruction surgery that Tarashi has had done throughout his life, that is absolutely fucking ridiculous. Just goes to show how dedicated to secrecy he is. And that's why he wears the mask all the time. I guess the mask is the first layer of identity protection, so no one knows who he is. And then if someone takes off his mask and sees his face, that's still a fake identity, and he'll end up having it changed shortly after. So if anyone ever sees his face again, they don't realize he's the same person. That's pretty wild. Now, there's really not much more to say about that until the next chapter. I assume we're going to get an explanation as to who he is in the next chapter. We're probably going to get some kind of flashback for Tarashi explaining his origins, whenever the fuck he started having his face changed, whatever his connection is to the other masked assassins from China. In the meantime, this fight is kind of weird. I don't think it's bad, but it's very strange. Just like the choreography, Tarashi's vibrations, it's a little weird. I think there are still several other fights in this tournament that are better than it so far. Who knows? Maybe it'll get absolutely amazing in the next chapter or two. But so far, it's kind of a meh fight. Which is a little disappointing, but we're still kind of in the beginning stages of it, so who knows what'll happen? Who knows? I assume this marks the end of the first act of the fight, so we're still gonna have like 2/3 of it to get through. We'll see if it improves in quality from here. Once again, I'm very interested in learning more about Tarashi. I assume we're going to be finding out what has Okubo done to get stronger since Ashura. How much stronger has he gotten? It's possible that once Okubo fully grasps everything that Tarashi's doing, once he's no longer uneasy about him, he's like, alright, and he just goes all out and kicks the shit out of Tarashi. Very possible, but I think this is going to be more of a mid to high diff victory for Okubo. We'll see. But in the meantime, that is all I have to say about Kengan Omega Chapter 117. If you enjoyed, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and click that notification bell so you don't miss any of my uploads. I do Kengan Omega chapter reviews every week. If you enjoy other series such as Jujutsu Kaisen, Chainsaw Man, and Record of Ragnarok, I do videos in those series as well, so if you're interested in those, you should definitely check out my channel. If you enjoy discussing Kengan Omega with other people, or you just enjoy the content I produce in this channel, I highly suggest you check out my Discord server. I have a link to that down in the description. And since it's the end of the video, it's time to give a shout out to my wonderful patrons, Fuse, Neo, Dijon Redden, Anthony Chavez, Honey Mustard, Zach Rowitz, K-God, Chris Redfield, Moonshadow935, Rat, Ryzen 4K, and Artist. Thank you all very much for supporting me on Patreon. I greatly appreciate it. And if you too want to get a shout out at the end of videos, or access to reviews for Solo Leveling and The Boxer, you can always become a patron as well. There's a link to my Patreon down in the description. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys around. Take care.